incoming president, Faith Odhiambo. Esteemed members of the Law Society of Kenya, it is my honor and privilege to present to you the new Council of the Law Society of Kenya. If you could all be outstanding so that you all acknowledge the new council, please acknowledge all of them.
So my name is Faith Odhiambo, the President of the Law Society of Kenya. The mood is, I'm highly elated and happy. This day has finally come and we take up the helms of the Law Society of Kenya. What I want to ring that is most important is that let's reunite as one society. Elections have come, they are over. It's time we come back together. Let's work as one Law Society of Kenya. There are so many challenges that are rising. It's at the helm of the housing levy that has now just been set in place. We're having challenges with regards to opportunities for advocates and us fighting for our practice space. We're looking at doctors going on the streets, because they are fighting for fair pay and also ensuring that they are treated well and with dignity. And that's a challenge that is also there in the legal profession, at the teachers' helm, at the workers as well. And so as a nation and as a country, there are many things that are happening and arising. We are suffering from, I would say, over-taxation as a nation. And so with regards to all these challenges that are coming up, what I would say is let's work as one. We have to fight to ensure that we uphold the rule of law. The courts are respected. They are able to ensure that the courts and the judiciary are independent and that they do not fall to the executive. We also remind Parliament of their responsibility. They are an independent arm of government. They should not sing to the tune of the executive. Let the three arms, they can work together, but let them also be independent, that they can serve the members of Kenya well. And so I ask us, let us unite, let us come together, like-minded professionals. Let us work to ensure that we deliver for not only the profession, but also for the people of Kenya. Thank you.
There are some issues that were raised during the AGM. What are the main issues that the lawyers raised, and maybe how are you planning to address them?
So the certain issues that have been raised with regards to, let's say, Ardhi Sasa, and there's need to audit that system and ensure some level of accountability, that we'll be able to see who is transacting behind the Ardhi Sasa system, and to ensure that the transactions are actually moving. It's not only beneficial for the legal profession, but for the members of the public as well, because we're having questions of non-practitioners or non-lawyers who are operating in cartels, and that also brings to the fore the hue and cry that members of the public have been having over a long period of time. And also the challenge that we have with the Ardhi Sasa system is with things being changed and you don't know who is behind changing those things. We have situations where people have invested, you believe your land is safe, that the system, the integrity of the system is beyond reproach, but you end up discovering that some 2-3 years later, somebody has changed ownership, has sold and resold your property. So these are concerns that we must ensure we take the CS and the PS to hold them to account, even as they strive to devolve their Ardhi system. Is it a system that can be upheld? Also, the question of obedience of court orders has been raised. As a profession, we work with the hope and belief that you will argue your client's case and be able to get justice for your client. The challenge that we are now seeing of so many stories coming up, not only politicians refusing to abide by court orders, courts are issuing orders, some also go ahead and even are taking over property belonging to individuals in the guise that they are ensuring justice. But once there's a court order, let's obey those court orders. These are challenges that members are raising, but not only members, are also members of the public. And also us striving to review the Law Society Act to meet the 21st century needs and the changes that have evolved over time. So there's work to be done, and it's time that we fold our shirts and start getting down to business. Thank you.
All the best. So what do you want? Okay. So, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Vincent Gidega. I am an advocate. I've just been sworn in for my second term in office as a council member. We've also witnessed the swearing in of my boss, the President, Faith Odhiambo. We wish her the very best. I'll be there personally to support her, together with all my other 11 council members, together with the Vice President, to ensure that she takes over or she proceeds with a good legacy that the outgoing President, Mr. Eric Deuri, has left. And we have no doubt that LSK will be steered to heights unimagined. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Aston Muchela, the LSK Chair, Rift Valley Branch. And today I am a very happy man, because for a long time we have tried to devolve some of the functions and events of the Law Society of Kenya. And today, for the first time, we have had the AGM being held outside Nairobi, and it has been held here in Rift Valley Branch. I am happy with the way we've been able to host this auspicious event for the society. We have seen a change of guard, and it has happened here in Rift Valley Branch. So I'm quite happy. This has been a dream of many practitioners from, we call them from diaspora. Those are the advocates who don't necessarily practice in Nairobi. So it has been a good day for us as practitioners in outside Nairobi.
There's also a motion about representation where lawyers feel like you plan to push for to ensure that there is a voting in the region.
Yes, true. There was a motion today that had been fronted by one of the members that we relook into the issue of how members who practice outside Nairobi are represented in the National Council. I am happy with how the discussions went because many members supported the need to look at that issue of representation, because as it is right now, we normally elect 4 up-country representatives into the council, but the thorny issue was that these up-country representatives are not necessarily voted by the people they represent. So the idea was that we relook at Section 17 of the Law Society of Kenya Act, so that we look at the possibility of amending that section so that practitioners outside Nairobi can vote for their representatives, and practitioners in Coast Region can vote for their representative, rather than subjecting the candidates who stand for those positions to be voted by people outside where they ordinarily practice. So that is an area of reform that is being looked into, and the incoming council has been tasked with the duty of forwarding that to the Law Reform Committee of the council, so that they see how that section can be amended. Of course, we will depend also on Parliament, because that is something that will go to Parliament, so that they can amend that law to reflect the wishes of the society. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Members of the press, my name is Mora Kabata, Vice President Law Society. We are extremely delighted to be here today this evening, probably tired, also heading into another event this evening, but the promise for a sustained law society that eventually transcends focusing to the benefit of the Kenyan people as well as the members of the law society is what we intend to achieve. Over and above an anchor on constitutionalism and the rule of law. We are entering into an interesting time where courts are being tested, where aspects of disobedience of court orders, questions as to the rule of law, and questions into over-taxation. And that is an area where we want to address the government and assist the government, because we have a statutory mandate under the act that establishes the law society. And so we are looking into yet another promising 2 years of future of the law society, but one that we are prepared to go an extra mile in terms of the challenges that we expect to find. But the purpose of the law society is not to oppose government. The function of the law society is actually to improve how government works and assist courts as well as members of the public. So I know we will be seeing each other quite severally, and we will engage with members of the media. You will note also that members of the media yourselves, you are currently facing a legal hurdle in terms of how you do business, where the government is now trying to single source media houses for purposes of its own advertisement. And that is an area where we are actually in partnership with the Media Owners Association as well as the entity that houses media practitioners, to see how we can make interventions in court as well as advocacy. So I believe we have a long future together, and I invite you, members of the press, to also assist the Law Society in terms of sensitizing what we do and the collaborations that we intend to undertake between the two entities. So thank you so much. I also invite you for a dinner if you have time.
Basically, the Law Society of Kenya Annual General Meeting has just concluded, and the new officials, the President of the Law Society, Faith Odhiambo, has been sworn in with Kabato Mwaura as Vice President, and council members. I think the second session is now on course. We are going for dinner, where the awards will be made to some of the lawyers in the country. I think there's a prestigious award on the Roll of Honor and another award, so we are headed for dinner right now.
What is your expectation of now the new leadership going forward?
I think the new Law Society of Council has the challenge of charting a path I've served in that position before, so I speak about what I know. I think the challenge here is to balance leadership so that you ensure that you do not fall into the trap of politics while leading the law society. You must pursue what is right in terms of constitutional violations, in terms of the object society under Section 4 of the Law Society of Kenya Act, which is basically, Section 4 is to assist the government touching on matters of governance, public questions. So the Law Society President, I believe, should be helping the government in issues touching on legislation. They will, of course, criticize government and guide government to ensure that governance is achieved for the benefit of all people in this country. I think that is the essential role of the Law Society of Kenya. So it must be balanced. And the challenge of a Law Society President is that, and Council, in that sense, that it must not be tilted towards one side. If it is tilted, then it risks losing objectivity. And I think that is the challenge that Faith Odhiambo has, to ensure that she balances leadership of the Law Society, so that she's not seen as either the Mio or Kenya Kwanza. You know, some of us are, we are ODM. We understand politics. And so that is the balancing leadership. That's very important. Because when government is right, say government is right, support government. When government is wrong, say government is wrong and tell it, this is the route to follow. Help with the legislation objectively. Help with policy issues and critical legal issues objectively. Then you succeed as the Law Society of Kenya President. That is where I succeeded. And that is why I have a legacy in leading this society.
So having served in that position, what best can you tell them as a word of advice?
Now, as I said, keep off politics, do what is right.
Yes.
Do what is right, follow the law. Always ensure that you have the law at your fingertips. Always guide, and your only weapon or armor should be the law, not other, as I say, irrelevant or political considerations, because you are leading a professional society, not a political party.
What do you think about the issue of bringing this AGM for the first time outside Nairobi? Because I heard
I think it's an experience in devolution. As you know, I'm a senator, and I know that devolution means you involve all the 47 counties in decisions. And this is a correct decision by the Law Society. I think the Nakuru Council decided that they move away from Nairobi to Nakuru. This is a good decision, and I think other counties should also experience Law Society AGMs. For instance, last year we celebrated the national celebration of Jamhuri Day in Kericho. Next year, I think we are going to be in Homa Bay. So even government has adopted the approach of devolving public functions. I think the Law Society of Kenya is following suit. Next year, perhaps they should be in Kakamega, and the next year, following year, perhaps in Mombasa. That is how you devolve services, so that other branch members can also know or feel how it is like to host the Law Society of Kenya function.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
Tomorrow, I will be doing the solemn duty of swearing. Thank you. I, Nabi Irogo, swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the objects of the Law Society of Kenya, the rule of law, and administration of justice, and that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as a member of the Advocates Disciplinary Tribunal of the Society, so help me God. To such time and date as may be provided, we'll proceed to the Council. So we will proceed to the Linda Gakili Kiome.
I, Linda Gakili Kiome, swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times Society of Kenya, the rule of the law, and the administration of justice, and that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as a council member of the Law Society of Kenya. So help me God.
As Linda is signing, may I invite Vincent Munyaga Idaiga. Vincent.
I, Vincent Munyaga Idaiga, swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the objects of the Law Society of Kenya, the rule of law and administration of justice, and that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as a council member of the society. So help me God. Swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the objects of the Law Society of Kenya, the rule of law and administration of justice, that without fear or favor, and I, Ezekiah Assessor Omolo, swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the objects of the Law Society of Kenya, the rule of law, and
fear or favor, I, Zulfa Adam Problem, swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the objects of the Law Society of Kenya, the rule of law and administration of justice, and that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as a council member of the society. So help me God.
May I invite Gloria Wangui Kimani.
I, Stephen Mbugo Wanjiru, swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the objects of the Law Society of Kenya, the rule of law and the administration of justice, and that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as a council member of the society. So help me God.
Irene Otto, swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the object of the Law Society of Kenya, the rule of law and administration of justice, and that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as a council member of the society. So help me God.
Teresia Wavinya Nicholas.
I, Teresia Wavinya Nicholas, swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the objects of the Law Society of Kenya, the rule of law and administration of justice, and that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as council member of the Law Society National Council and seize. So, I, Teresia Wavinya Nicholas, swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the objects of the Law Society of Kenya, the rule of law and administration of justice, and that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as a council member of the society. So help me God.
Hosea Mwanwa Onsomi.
And that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as a council member of the Law Society. So help me God. There, Manwa Onsomo, swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the objects of the Law Society of Kenya, the rule of law and administration of justice, and that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as a council member of the society. So help me God.
I, Mora Kabata, swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the objects of the Law Society, the rule of law, and the administration of justice, and that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as the Vice President of the society. So help me God.